Tilder! What is this? This is a bicolored LED softbox kit made by Neewer. How much does it cost? Approximately $130. You can plug it into the wall or use 2 Sony NPF batteries to power it. You can check the battery life by holding down the brightness knob. My 2 largest Sony NPF batteries were able to give me approximately 2 hours of operation whether I was in daylight or tungsten. There's actually 3 ways you can use this. You can use the bare LEDs for a flood beam, you can add the softbox attachment to give a little cut to the light, and of course you can use a diffusion cloth for softer light. One of the creative uses you need to know about is the fact that now you can follow a character in a long one take. Do I recommend this? Absolutely yes. Done, roll that intro. Hey, what's going on everybody? You're watching Too Long Didn't Read Filmmaker, where the answers comes first, the reasons come last, but we're constantly and always still learning. So today we're gonna find out whether or not this bicolored portable softbox kit made by Neewer is gonna be the right lighting solution for you and your overall lighting kit. And again, I need to thank Neewer for sending me out this unit so I can provide this review for you. Coming in at $130, you're gonna get pretty much everything to get started. You're gonna get the 2 bicolored LEDs, you're gonna get 2 softbox attachments, 2 diffusion, 2 light stands, 2 AC power adapters, and all of this fits into a nice carrying case, making it extremely portable. Speaking of portable, this is capable of being powered by 2 Sony NPF batteries, which is amazing. Using my 2 large Castar NPF batteries, which I love, review is going to be right up here in the title card, I was able to get a little over 2 hours whether I was in the daylight or tungsten mode. Because this thing is battery powered, I can see a very, very creative use that basically Hollywood does. I can't necessarily show the clip, but if you look at the behind the scenes of Black Panther, where Chadwick Boseman is fighting in the casino, that big one take, you'll notice that there's a person holding an LED panel right behind him. And that's so that I'm guessing that Chadwick would stay lit the whole time as he's moving his way through the casino. But when he turns around, there's definitely going to be an eye light there as well. One awesome thing that Neewer has done is you can actually check your battery levels. To do this, you're going to have to hold down the brightness knob for a couple of seconds, and then the back display is going to throw up 2 numbers, and basically that's going to tell you how much percentage of batteries you have left. The display might look a little cryptic in the beginning, but the first 2 numbers is basically your brightness from 10 to 99, and then the next 2 numbers are going to be what Kelvin you're at, whether you're going to be at 3200 Kelvin or 5600 Kelvin. In my testings of the LEDs itself, there was no flicker that I could see. I dimmed the light down all the way to approximately, I think, 20%, and then I just went to town on the shutter and I could not see any flicker all the way up to 16 thousandths of a second. In terms of power output, it actually does quite well. So in my now standardized tests, I am 6 feet away from the wall, ISO 400, 1/60th of a shutter speed at f2.8 on a micro 4/3 sensor. I'm going to test this out 3 different ways. One, without the softbox at all, so you're just going to get this big flood beam of light. And then I'm going to put just the reflector without the diffusion cloth, which will actually amp up the light quite a bit, as you can see in these test results. And then, of course, I'm going to put the diffusion cloth in front of it. And I will put the lux readings here, just so you know. Now, because this bicolor light is predominantly made out of plastic, there's really no way for the LED to dissipate the heat. So yes, there is a fan inside of it. For this test, I am in this non-sound controlled room. The light is placed approximately 6 feet away, which I believe is a pretty good distance for this softbox light. So this is what the room sounds like without the fan on. So I did crack this thing open to see what kind of fan was inside, and it looks like a 40mm CPU fan that you can get at a Micro Center or of course Amazon. And it's basically connected with the same type of 3-pin connector if you're familiar with building computers. So I looked online on Amazon just to see what kind of Noctua fans I could get, because Noctua is known for super silent fans. And at approximately 13 some dollars, I can get myself a 40mm fan that pumps out a decibel of, I think it said 17 to 20 decibels of sound. So that's definitely going to be way, way more silent than the fan that's inside. This is definitely an upgrade I plan on doing, and look forward to that video to see a sound comparison between the stock fan and the super quiet Noctua fan. Now there's one test that I wish I could perform, but unfortunately I don't have the tools to do it, and that is color accuracy. The reason I'm not doing any color accuracy tests is because I'm shooting with a GH5. Yes, I could do a custom white balance. Yes, I could do this to any of the cameras I want. But the problem is Panasonic, Sony, Canon, and Fuji, they all have their different ways of interpreting color. So even if I do all that stuff and shoot a color chart with it, it's gonna be off. So until I can afford a $2,000 to $3,000 spectrometer that can give me the actual TLCI or the new standard that I can't remember what it's called, until I get that expensive tool, there's really no way for me to give you a super accurate way of how good this light actually is in terms of color reproduction. But in these tests, yes, I have done a custom white balance and basing it off of my GH5's own color science. So if it looks good to you, I think it looks good to me. So what's the bottom line here? Is this Neewer bicolor portable softbox kit something I would recommend to you? And I have to say yes, yes, and yes. The first reason is because of pure value. At $130, you get everything you could possibly need, minus the NPF batteries, unless you already have them already. Now, I do have a cheap softbox that I'm using right now for my YouTube videos, but if I was to try to match everything up to what the Neewer gives me, I had to buy 2 softboxes, which puts me at $40 to $50. Then I have to buy 8 of the Philips LED light bulbs that I'm currently using, the daylight ones. So that's going to put me basically almost to, I think about $80 to $90. Get 2 light stands, so I'm maybe at $100 to $110 all said and done. But here's the problem. It's not bicolored unless I buy the tungsten light bulbs. I can't dim it. And if I do need to bring it somewhere where there's no battery, I have to buy a battery generator to power it. So when it's all said and done, this Neewer package is definitely the better value and also just the better way to use this light. Speaking of using this light, the most creative use that I can think of this softbox is to basically do those long one-take Hollywood style, where you do have someone following the main character with a light. But instead of carrying a really heavy LED panel, we now have something that's really, really light, and we have 3 ways to use it. We can either flood the one take by just using the bare LEDs without anything, or we can attach the softbox attachment without the diffusion cover, and that's actually going to cut the light a little bit to only focus in where we point it. And then lastly, if you need to follow the character to give them a nice soft light, then add that diffusion cover and you're good to go. Again, with the battery powered solution, with the 2 largest NPF batteries that I have, you're able to power it for 2 hours. That's actually not that bad for something that blasts out approximately 50 watts of draw. So that's actually par for the course. Lastly, I know the fan might be a turnoff for some of you depending on how close that light is to your talent, but I would say again, wait for the video where I change it out with a Noctua fan, and let's see how silent we can get this thing. And hey, that is it for this week, everybody. If this video has made all the influence in your purchasing decisions, I would truly appreciate it if you check out my Amazon affiliate links down below. Again, this costs nothing extra to you. It just gives me a little compensation so I can continue making videos like this for you. And as always, if you guys have any questions or comments, go ahead and leave it down below. I will get to them as fast as I can. And until then, like, subscribe, and share, and I'll see you guys in the next one.